busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. I think that I came up with a solution. I think I discovered why people quit so fast. What, you want to know? Okay, drum roll. I can't do it. I don't know why. Okay, whatever. Think it's because we have not invested in falling in love with the process. And a couple of things led me to this particular thought. So I was in a nail salon the other day, and this woman, if you forgot, my hair is natural, right? And so she's getting her nails done, and she was like, I'm sorry, I just can't stop staring at your hair. Oh my goodness. What do you do with it? And I try to go natural, and I've been transitioning, which means she had a perm. And so instead of cutting it all off, she tried to cut off the perm little by little by little to then have her natural hair. And what else sparked this idea? I was kind of looking at entrepreneur videos and just, seeing, just getting more information in that area because I'm not well rounded as I would like to be as of yet. And so you have your thing where it's like businesses last the first 5 years, and you have all these different cliches that go along with it. And I just thought to myself, what if we were invested in the process opposed to being invested in the progress, right? Meaning, what if we were more invested in whatever it takes? I am invested into that. I'm going to put all my energy into that, opposed to being invested in results. So the only time that I can kind of, when I was trying to drum up ideas of, okay, when is it a process and when is it something that we are like, oh, okay, it makes sense. I'm okay with that. And I guess it would be something along the lines of, pregnancy. We expect for that to be give or take 40 weeks, right? And we're okay with that because we got to give it time. We need the baby shower time now. In these times we need the gender reveal times, and so we're cool with that. We could speed up the process, but we understand that, ooh, and that's the nugget right there. We understand that if we were to try to hurry along the process, that we can actually harm the baby, right? Because if I remember offhand, one of the last things to develop in a child is their lungs and their brain. So if you decided 26 weeks, I just want to, I want to go ahead and name the baby and bring it home and kiss on it and have pictures and, put it on Facebook and social media, you would actually harm the baby attempting to quicken the process. And that just spoke to me right there. Wow. I guess you know what? Let me just be led by the Holy Spirit. Let me just sit there. If you were to look at your entrepreneur lane, your relationship, whatever it is that you decided some time ago, you know what? I'm going to give it the necessary time, energy, and love that it needs. Could you start looking at that very thing the way that we just described that unborn baby? If your spouse, your person, whatever your it is said, I want to change, just be patient with me. Or, if you are at a job and you're like, man, I was expecting to be in this position for this many months and then I wanted to go ahead and get promoted. What's taking so long? And I think there's a danger in trying to live life according to a time frame. I think there's a danger in trying to map out, okay, by 20 I should be here, 30, 40, 50, 60, because I think that opens the door to so much emotional and mental anguish that is really unfair. And I think if we started looking at things like that unborn baby, then maybe we would, no, 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 I don't want to rush it. If it has to take 41 weeks, I'm good. Back in the days, you used to ask people, what do you want? And, as far as boy or girl, like, you're pregnant. And they used to say what? What was the common saying? I just want a healthy baby. And when I was younger and I heard that, I'm like, I get it, 10 fingers, 10 toes. But like, what do you want? I never understood the importance of them saying, listen, whether boy or girl, I want this process to be as smooth as possible. And I don't want to go through all this for no reason, or I don't want to go through all this and go through pain and then have to go through extended pain because I rushed the process or I was stressed during the process and now the baby was harmed. So you know what? Whatever it is, I just want to bring it home healthy. What if we gave our entrepreneur, business life, love life, whatever your it is, what if we gave it that same energy? Because I feel like the time that we live in, again, it is breeding this generation to not want to wait. We don't have to wait for almost anything. Like parking your car too far from an establishment is like an inconvenience now, right? And then meanwhile, back in the day, they were walking to school, in 15 feet snow and all the other old stories. When I was your age, whatever that is. But what if we started really trying to fight against the tide, right? Since the generation and as we mature as a culture, it's becoming more rush, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry. You know somebody in 2 weeks, you love them, you move in with them, you have them watching your kids, and then you wind up on the news. Like, I'm sorry, what just happened? Just, whoa, okay, great. You go into a job, you work a little bit, and then you figure, they expecting too much of me too fast. Oh, but that's where you work. So yeah, they're expecting for you to just full time come in here, and that's what you signed up to do, right? I remember the other day I was talking to this woman, and she said, she was the office manager. She said she's been in that position for 4 years, and she's had to interview for that position for the front desk every 6 months. So I was like, so what's the problem? And she said, well, people figure because this is a healthcare establishment, that being in the front desk is a cakewalk. And that kind of was like, wait a minute. I mean, yeah, it was the dentist's office. So yeah, you get, okay, front desk. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? The phone ring and a patient walks in at the same time. Okay, it can't be that serious. But then I thought about it. I said, we're even moving to become foreign to hard work. So to be an entrepreneur, to be anything that requires for you to actually work toward it, it actually becomes more difficult because we don't have that palette anymore. And when I say we, I'm including myself, but I'm actually talking about the culture. Forbid you order something in the drive-through and it takes long and they ask you to pull up. Oh no. The audacity, right? And so what's bringing up in my spirit now is that the Bible does say, don't be conformed by the world, right? And so right now, what's the world doing? The world is quick, 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 hurry, 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 flashy. So what if you can't afford it? Get it now. Who cares about delayed gratification? Now, now, now. And we just have quickened the process. And what we don't realize is that we are skipping across major muscle things that will actually make us stronger. When you skip a stage, you actually cheat yourself. You cheat yourself out of getting stronger in an area, building up an endurance. I think that the reason why some children in this society right now are so brittle is because they weren't emotionally built for this generation. Like, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the truth. I had a super bully. As a matter of fact, I had 2 bullies when I was younger. Torment. You understand? Now, God forbid, and this is no pun in any child, but this is just, an assessment. Now a child gets bullied and they're trying to harm themselves and take their own lives. And it's like, are we forgetting to infuse our children with the necessary things needed? Are we forgetting to infuse ourselves with the necessary things needed? Maybe, bullying wasn't such a big deal for me because it was a huge deal. I was coming home crying every day, like, he's bothering me. He's bothering me. And my mother did halfway come up to the school, talk to, but on the sideline, she was like, come home one more time. If they ever put their hands on you, but she was old school. You better not come home and not have won that fight. So I knew any kind of windmill, I don't care what came from my arms, but the moment that it looked like it was going to get physical, all I knew was I had to go home and say I won. But that was in that time. Forbid you go ahead and influence your child to hit back for some torment that they're experiencing, right? I wish they had the no bully rule when I was in school, but I digress. I'm getting a little bit upset about that. Shoot, because I was trying to duck and dodge and walking opposite ways and taking long routes to classes and all kind of crap. Then it just got to the point mother was like, look, you fighting tomorrow. I can't. I just, I can't. Let me braid your hair. You get a hoodie. I was like, Ma, you're the gangster. I don't want to do this, but I digress. But I'm saying all that to say, are we quitting on things that we're assigned to because it's taken too long? Like, what if we had the mindset that we said whatever we were about to, embark upon, if it was a relationship, a new business, whatever your it is, what if we approached it with the mindset of this is going to take 10 years? I know. Just listen, hear me out. This is going to take 10 years. So I need 10 years worth of enthusiasm. I need to do what is needed so that daily I am infused with the notion of, okay, the thing that makes you clap your hands and rub it together real hard and say, all right, come on, we going to get it. Day 1, day 2, day 396. To be able to gear yourself up on, it's going to take long, but it's okay because I'm built for this. And if it happened earlier, guess what? Beautiful surprise. Because I feel like we work backwards, right? We tell ourselves, we somewhere in our mind we think, okay, overnight success. Even though we don't really want to subscribe to that, we feel like, well, this shouldn't take any longer than about 6 months, right? But then after 2 weeks to a month worth of stuff, we're like, how come we're not getting don't let it be 3 to 6 months. It's like, I'm sorry, where are all the results that's just raining down? At this point I should be a household name. I'm confused, right? And then we get disappointed, and then it zaps our mojo, and then we don't have what's needed to continue on. And then it's like, and it either has one or two things happen. Either it fades by the wayside, you leave it alone because you just realize, this road is a little bit too coarse for me to travel, right? Or the other thing, you do it, but you do it with a very lackluster, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I just feel like that's such a disservice to you, everything that you started, everything that's assigned to you. And I always think about the late greats. Again, think about the people who could have said, I don't want to do this no more. Thank God that whoever started creating the airplane didn't stop halfway, because we would only, I mean, how long would it take us to go see our relatives or go on vacation? Like, that would really suck because somebody else didn't see it through. And so if the Bible says to, don't conform to the ways of the world, if it says that in Romans, then maybe, just maybe, we need to go ahead and get smarter and say, okay, so this is the current tide and wave and, the way that the world is going right now, right? This is the culture in which I'm in. Cool. I need to do the opposite. Yes, it's going to make me look foreign. It's probably going to absolutely positively look weird. But I have to do something different in order for me to receive something different. No one was an overnight success. But we live in the land of a video can go viral and then that's your big break. Or, you can DM the person that you figure, oh my goodness, if I can just get you to listen to, if I can just get your eye, your attention, that would just be, oh my, take me to the next level. And we live in this instantaneous, delusioned world, and it doesn't work like that. We see the people that have, become instant social media stars, and they started off making videos and now they're in different productions, and you're like, oh, and then they opened up businesses, but we were not behind the scenes to see how long that truly took for them to get there. So what if we already just said, you know what, because a lot of the people have been doing stuff, I promise you, between 3 and 5 years before we even acknowledge. There are people to this day that are going to world-renowned names. Let's just take Dave Ramsey. He's been around forever. And there are people still calling his show to say, hey, I just found out about you from 6 months. 6 months ago, I just came across one of your, and somebody gave me your, and that's how so it's like, why do you think you had an idea 6 months ago and then within a year it's supposed to pop? And I think, again, there are some crucial things that is necessary for us during the process that we cannot afford to skip a step. This is not school where if you do really, 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 really good in one grade, you can skip the next and then you can proceed. I think that it's a detriment to skip the step in the process of whatever your it is, because I think it develops a muscle that, you know what, the way that it works, if you don't get it now, you're going to have to come back around this mountain, and you're going to have to take the class again. And so I had to just come on and just call you and encourage. And I'm like, man, I hate the fact that there's so many brilliant ideas that have faded, or that have a lackluster approach to it now, because we have a mindset of hurry up. We have a hypersensitive culture. We have a hypersensitive adaptation, and we feel like, you know what, if it does not happen immediately right now, then I failed. No, you failed if you did not fall in love or invest or really count the cost to the process. You know, some people are getting feeling some type of way because it's taking them longer to get pregnant than they thought. Okay. That doesn't make you a terrible person. That doesn't make you any less than a human. It just means either A, your body needs a little bit because this is something new, or B, you're going to have to be a parent through another means, right? Your business is not popping as fast as you thought. Okay. But you know what? Maybe while you're waiting for that big moment, maybe God is allowing for you to take your breath now, because everyone who's successful always says what? It's lonely at the top, right? So maybe God is trying to give you the opportunity to pack the jet of your life, because I don't believe that success is a commercial airline. I believe it is a small personal jet. He's allowing for you to arrange the people in your life so that you can cleverly and wisely pack the jet with the people that's supposed to be there. Identify it immediately, because the last thing that you want is to get to the top and realize that the person that you thought was your ace forever turned out to be a club. You see what I'm saying? And so can we just, I don't know, can we just be aliens when it comes to the process? Can we go ahead and invest and say, okay, and write down a commitment that, you know what, this is going to take 5 to 10 years. Matter of fact, let's speak something different. Let's say, if this requires the best of me for 5 to 10 years, I now make the commitment on this day. And you need to write that, you need to sign that, and you need to be able to look it in, pretty much if you have it on the mirror, but you need to be able to look at it and know I made a commitment. Just like you sign any other contract. You got to sign something when you see a doctor. You got to sign something when you get a car. If you rent a car, you got to sign something if you rent a home, rent an apartment, if you get a mortgage. Right now, people are more invested in the contract because the words of people mean nothing anymore. So why don't you make a contract with yourself? Why don't you say I, comma, your name? I mean, make it real. And I'm being serious. It probably sounds like, come on, but you need to know that. You need to know that you made a commitment to yourself, that you made a contract with yourself in the process and whatever your it is. And you need to bring it alive by saying, I'm not going to quit on you. I am not going to rush you because I don't want to deal with a premature blessing. I don't want to be equipped for that. God did not give me this idea, this vision in order for me to rush it. And it's like, ooh, you ever tried to cook something, that was from the package, you tried to hurry up and you threw the package in the garbage and you started cooking and it didn't look right. So then you had to go back in the garbage and kind of like, what does that say? 3 to 5 minutes, then cover. Oh, okay. And then you put it back because you read that quick. So you put it back in the garbage, you go back to the thing, you looking at it again, you have to go back. And it's like, what, what if you just would have read the instructions thoroughly and completely the first time? Perhaps. What if you would have said, okay, I understand that the process is going to require for me to self-educate. And that if a mistake is made, that just means, oh, I needed more tutoring in this area of the process. And so then I go to work and I start to tutor myself and get more information through books, through podcasts, through YouTube videos, through whatever means that you are going to get the information. And then once you made a progress in that, then it's like, okay, and then you continue to go through the process. Because let me tell you something, what the process is going to do, it's definitely going to make you really aware of what areas you need to strengthen yourself in. It's like going to school. You have a smorgasbord of things you need to complete for graduation, and then you know what, your math is a little it requires a little strengthening. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give you you can go ahead and sign up for a tutor. But if you keep neglecting that, then you're going to have to go ahead and go to summer school. Okay, then you may have to go ahead and go to night school. And then you know what? You may have to go ahead and just start taking a lot of pre-tests, because just because you're poor at math does not mean that the testing stops. Oh, they see you poor at math, but guess what? You still about to take that citywide test. Have a nice day. Oh no, you definitely, your name is on the roster. It is no, oh, you know what? We'll go ahead and pass such and such. They're not really good at math. They're like, oh, okay, you bought your 2 pencils, eraser. Okay, there's no talking. Like, they're letting you know the rules, because the rules don't stop because you're uncomfortable. The rules don't stop because you have not done the work. The rules don't make an exception. You have to go ahead and align yourself to the rule. And so if the rule is, listen, the process requires that you're going to be doing some hard work. Whether it's intense outwardly, where you're working, and you're learning, you're doing all the things, or if it's internally, where you need to start being very strong in possible hearing no. Hearing no shouldn't wither your entire tree of hope away. Hearing no should say, okay, so, why did I hear a no? And what do I need to do to go back to the lab to maybe strengthen and make a stronger package deal than what I initially went ahead and informed, and to come back and to seal the deal? What do I need to do to make this come to pass? And the number one thing that I keep hearing about, that I also fell victim to, that I'm like, okay, listen, there is going to have to be this idea that you remove, where you're focusing on the monetary value. People do not subscribe to a business, to a entity, to a person, to anything, if it feels like you are just here to get my money. If you start your business, your relationship, your whatever with that mindset, guess what the unfortunate thing is? You have to keep that mindset throughout. Whatever initiated you to start it, and then whatever initiated you to pursue it, usually is the thing that carries you through to the end. That's why it's extremely sad for relationships to start because of tangible items. He has a nice car. She has, a nice body. They have, this hierarchy, this position of power in their establishment, their firm, what have you. Because if that's what, now something else may have sparked your interest. You may have like, pretty eyes. I want to see what you're about. Okay, great. But if that's what made you proceed, then guess what? The moment that tangible item shakes in any kind of way, there goes the situation as well. The situation follows. So you may have gotten a spark and said, I want to start a business because I want to help people, or I want to change my family bloodline, or I just see the corporate world is just not for me. Okay, that was your initiator, but what carried you through? Because what carries you through exposes different character traits. If it truly is, I want to help people, then people should be the heart of why you do everything, and then the money will follow. I think that the trick of it all is to make sure what is making us go through the process is pure, that it has integrity attached to it, and it's the very thing that we're strengthening so that it can't be shaked. Like, if you're starting a business because you want to help people, that should lead you all the way through, and your want to help people should not be easily moved. It shouldn't be easily adjusted. So then if it is, then that's the thing that needs to be strengthened. Because if you start looking at the books and you like, look, I'm not helping people for this amount. I'm going to help people and I can't even help myself. If that's going to be the mindset, then you may need another reason for why you're doing it. Or you may need to have a reality check with yourself, because it's definitely not the people. But again, whatever it is, I think we have to go through the process differently. We have to strengthen ourselves in the process. We have to learn ourselves, because the process is definitely, like I said, it's going to expose the areas that you're weakest in. And so if it's, oh, you have a little, little greed in you, you get a little greedy. Look at you. Oh, you have a little taste for fame. Oh, you get a little arrogant when people start, good job. Yeah, I know I didn't. Oh, you don't know how to take a compliment. So again, we need to go ahead and have a self-talk. But I honestly, I want you, the challenge for this conversation is, I want you to go back to that contract. I want you to absolutely write a contract, have it a place that you can see it. I always recommend a mirror, preferably the bathroom mirror. And I want you to write the contract that I am not going to quit in this process, because if I were to try to hasten this process, I'm going to have a premature blessing. And that is not what we're setting up for. You see what I'm saying? No, I'm giving you time to, no, nothing happened to the phone. I'm giving you time to go ahead and just breathe that in and go, wow, never looked at it that way. You see what I'm saying? So again, contract. Let's go ahead and work on the process. Let's be alien. Let's look at what society is doing, and then let's step back from that and do something different. I don't think that God will have you go through, I know God won't have you go through a whole process for you to be in lack, especially if your motive is in the right place. Because God always, every time that I've ever read anything in the Bible, and every time that I look at people, that's actually living examples, I've always seen that He has risen those with great integrity. He checks the heart of a person. And if your integrity and your heart is in the right place, it always leads to prosperity. It's just you need to make sure that prosperity does not become the major goal, the it factor for you. You see what I'm saying? There's billionaires on their deathbed wishing that, they're not like, oh, real quick, can you bring me my bank statement so I could just, that's the last thing you want to see. So I think you got everything that you need here. And I'm confident that as I was speaking to you, God spoke some things into your spirit. So I want you to go ahead and be obedient in that and do exactly that. Because I feel like this will help generations to come, because we're only going to get quicker and faster and faster and faster. We started up with dial-up. Now we're just like, geez, if the text messages don't go through in 2 seconds, we got an attitude, right? So we have to start building that resistance and that momentum now, right? Yeah. This spoke to me. If nothing at all, I know you listening, but nothing at all, this actually helps me. But as my good nanny says, all right, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna go ahead and give the phone with you so I can write my own contract. I'll call you back later, all right? Okay. Later.